Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing a storytime video. I'm going to be telling you the story about the first time I went to the ER. And this is kind of like a really strange story of how this happened. So, my parents went out for a movie night and I was with a babysitter, and she was like, okay, let's go outside. So in our backyard, we had a swing set. So we had like a ladder kind of going up to the slide, and the slide curved and then went back down. Like it's kind of like this, I guess you could say. So I was sitting at the top of the slide, and she was at the bottom. So like I just decided to slide down really quick. So I guess I just jutted off and I flipped over the side of the slide. So I was at the top of the slide. So that's a pretty far fall, and I was only like 5 or 6 years old. So I fell off the slide, and I remember blacking out for a second because of like how hard I hit the ground, and then I couldn't breathe when I came to, and I was like having trouble breathing, and I was crying my eyes out because I had just fallen off the slide. And so she took me in the house, and I couldn't move my elbow, so it was like right here, and there was a huge bruise forming. So she called my mom, and my parents rushed home. And when they got home, she had put my arm in like a towel, so she was kind of like a sling. And I could not move it at all. I was still crying. I could barely breathe still. And so before my parents got there, her parents actually came over and just kind of looked at my elbow and sat there with me until my parents got home. And my mom said, okay, we need to go to the ER because there was no doctor open at that time. It was probably about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So we would go to the ER, and I remember I was freaking out because I had never been to the ER before. And I remember walking in, I swear this is like a movie scene. I remember walking in, and this little kid was bawling his eyes out with blood just dripping down his head. He had to get stitches, he was scared, and I was just freaking out. So we got to the ER, and we're sitting there in the waiting room. And I all of a sudden just felt really sick, like nauseous. I really didn't want to eat anything. So my mom took me to the bathroom, and I literally got sick all over the floor. So after that, she took me out of the bathroom, and she realized that I had a fever because I was like sweating, but I was cold. So we got into the emergency room finally, like the rooms, and the doctor like made us wait like an hour and a half in this room. And so I'm sitting here looking at the wall, and I remember like there was instruments all over the wall, and it was so weird. Like I got so anxious. I thought they were going to do that to me. All those tools on the wall freaked me out. So after that, I think it's the x-ray room because the nurses came in. They're like, okay, we got to take an x-ray. So they had to move my elbow, which hurt so bad, and I was crying my eyes out. So when we came back in the room and the doctor finally came in, they put a cast on my arm, like not the real cast from I'm trying to think what they call it, like the bone doctor or whatever. I don't really know what they call it. So they put me in a 2-day cast thing, like a temporary cast, and we went home. And that whole night I was up throwing up because I had this stomach bug. So I had a fever, and I was throwing up the whole entire time at the ER. So it was an awful night. So that is my story about my trip to the ER, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye!